Something very interesting is shaping up that could have massive impact on weather across the entire planet. A Super El Nino. But why? Why does El Nino, let alone a Super El Nino, change weather patterns at all? And what the heck is El Nino anyway? Hey there everybody, I'm CBS Philadelphia meteorologist Bill Kelly. I'm gonna make it simple. All right, so let's start with the basics. Down near the equator, the winds blow from the east to the west. In the northern hemisphere, they blow from the northeast. Southern hemisphere, they blow from the southeast. And what that does is it takes the warm water and sends it across the Pacific over toward Asia. And when it does, we get what's called upwelling, and that is where water here near the Americas comes from underneath to replace the water that's being blown to the west, and it's relatively cool. So generally speaking, over in the eastern Pacific, the temperatures of the water are between 9 to 11 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than it is over here in Asia. But here's the thing, sometimes these winds will slacken and all this warm water that's over here comes rushing back and it flips the whole system around, and the water temperatures here off the Americas become much warmer. And that is what El Nino is. To give you a visual example of this, I put together this really cool experiment where I have water on the bottom that I've colored blue. I put vegetable oil that I colored red on the top, so you can see the difference between warm water and cool water. This is east, this is the Americas, this is west, this is Asia. Of course, we're talking about the equator. Let's turn these fans on, and these are going to represent the trade winds that blow from east to west. Now, prior to that, you saw that that line of red was pretty even. Well, now what's happening is the trade winds are blowing a lot of this water, and that's what happens normally. The warmer water is out west, the cooler water is here in the east. And if you just simply look at the thickness of the line, you can see how the warmer water is much thicker over to the west than it is to the east. So what happens during El Nino? The trade winds slacken or sometimes turn off entirely, and that warm water comes rushing back to the east. And this water is now way above normal, and that is El Nino. All right, so you might be thinking to yourself, so what? It's just some warmer water in the Pacific. What can that really do anyway? Well, we are talking about thousands of miles of way above normal conditions. That sends that much more water vapor into the atmosphere, an insane amount more. And that will alter where the storms form, that can alter where the jet streams go, and that can alter temperatures across the planet. It's basically like moving the engine of the atmosphere to an entirely different spot. Now, let's talk about Super El Nino. When it comes to El Nino, it's ranked in categories. It's based on a 3-month average of the water temperature compared to normal. So if it's between 0 and 0.4 degrees Celsius, that's considered neutral. There's not an El Nino. If it's between 0.5 and 0.9, that is a weak El Nino. 1.0 Celsius to 1.4, that is moderate, and a 1.5 to 1.9 degrees Celsius above normal is considered a strong El Nino. Rarely do we get above 2 degrees Celsius. That is considered a Super El Nino. Since the records have been kept since 1950, only 6 times, 6 seasons, we had a Super El Nino. The most recent was back in 2016, the 2015-2016 season, and before that, it was 1997 and 1998. And some of the forecast models have that average 3 degrees Celsius or more above normal. That is astounding. The amount of added moisture that is going to be added to the air will be insane. And that is going to have massive impacts in many locations around the globe, including right here in the US. And think about it, the higher that number goes, it's just like turning the weather dial up. So what does that actually mean when it comes to our winter, for example? Well, here in the US, during an El Nino year, what we will generally see is the subtropical jet stream, that's the jet stream that moves in from the south, head north, and that brings more rain and storms to areas in the south. It also brings that potential for flooding in places out west like Los Angeles and San Diego. Here in the northeast, it generally will give us warmer than normal winters and give us much more precip than we would normally get. Now you might be thinking, okay, warmer than normal, that means no snow, right? All rain? Wrong. El Nino doesn't always follow the script. Yes, typically we'll see more moisture, we'll see above normal temperatures, but all it takes is one cold snap to come down to tie into all that added moisture, and we could be looking at a whopper of a storm. Think of it like this: big swings in the overall conditions, big swings in the type of weather that we'll get, and big swings and big potential impacts for you. Don't get fooled by some of the headlines that say it's going to be a mild winter. Yes, temperatures have a good chance of being above normal, but boy, we could be in for some big curveballs. Now you know what El Nino is, you know what a Super El Nino is, and you've seen the demonstration that you can do at home. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'm happy to answer anything, and as always, we'll be tracking this for you on CBS News Philadelphia. And if you like this video, I would love to connect with you. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and check out some more videos just like this on my page.